The scream started at exactly 2:17 a.m. Neighbors thought it was just another dog barking until they heard a grown man begging for his life. When police broke down the front door, there was blood on the walls, furniture ripped apart, and standing silently in the middle of the room, a single dog. It wasn't barking, it wasn't growling, it was just staring, as if it knew exactly what it had done. The victim wasn't a stranger, it was a dog's own owner. But here's the terrifying part. This wasn't an accident. This breed was originally created to be fearless, to ignore pain, to fight until death, and once it locks onto a target, sometimes nothing can stop it. Today, we're uncovering the chilling history of the most dangerous dog breed ever created, how it was born, why governments around the world have banned it, and whether it truly deserves its terrifying reputation. Stay with us, because the truth is far more disturbing than the myths. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the silence of a quiet neighborhood was shattered by a scream so horrifying that people woke up instantly. A neighbor rushed to the window. Another grabbed a flashlight. Then came a loud crash, and suddenly everything went silent. No barking, no shouting, just silence. Within minutes, police cars and ambulances flooded the street. Officers forced open the front door. What they discovered inside would haunt them forever. Furniture was smashed into pieces. Blood covered parts of the floor. The air was heavy with fear. And in the center of the living room, a massive dog stood completely still. It wasn't barking. It wasn't attacking. It simply stared at the officers with cold, unblinking eyes. The victim was its own owner, a man who had raised the dog from the day it was only a tiny puppy. Everyone asked the same terrifying question. Why? Was the dog naturally evil, or had humans created something they could no longer control? This question has divided experts for decades. Some believe certain breeds are simply too dangerous. Others argue that any dog can become violent if it is abused or trained to attack. But one breed has always remained at the center of this debate. A breed feared around the world, banned in several countries, and surrounded by stories that sound like horror movies. Today, we're uncovering the truth, not the rumors, not the internet myths, but the real history behind one of the most controversial dogs ever bred. To understand how this animal earned its terrifying reputation, we must travel back more than 200 years, to a time when dogs weren't family pets, they were weapons. Chapter 2. A Dog Built for War. In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, blood sports were common in parts of Europe. People packed arenas to watch animals fight for entertainment. Large bulls, wild bears, and powerful dogs. Breeders wanted an animal unlike any other, strong enough to overpower larger opponents, fast enough to dodge attacks, and fearless enough to keep fighting despite pain. They crossed muscular bulldogs with agile terriers. Their goal wasn't companionship, their goal was creating the perfect fighting dog. The result was an animal with incredible strength, determination, and stamina. Generations of selective breeding amplified these traits. Over time, those same qualities would make the breed both admired and feared. But as laws changed and animal fighting became illegal in many places, the dogs themselves didn't disappear. Instead, they found a new place in society. Some became loyal family companions. Others were exploited by criminals for intimidation and illegal fighting. This split created one of the biggest controversies in the canine world. Was the breed itself dangerous, or was it the people who shaped its behavior? That question leads us to one of the most shocking real-life cases ever recorded. The story of this terrifying dog doesn't begin in a modern city. It begins more than 200 years ago in the dark industrial towns of England. Back then, people weren't looking for loyal family pets. They wanted something much darker. A dog that would never back down, a dog that could ignore pain, a dog that would keep fighting, even when badly injured. To create that animal, breeders crossed the powerful Old English bulldog with agile hunting terriers. The result was a muscular, fearless fighter that would later become the ancestor of breeds like the American Pit Bull Terrier. But here's something many people don't know. These dogs weren't born evil. Humans designed them for brutal blood sports such as bull baiting and dogfighting. Crowds would gather. People placed bets. And the dogs were forced into deadly fights until one collapsed. The more fearless a dog was, the more valuable it became. Generation after generation, breeders selected only the strongest, the fastest, and the dogs that refused to quit. Over time, this created an animal with extraordinary strength, determination, and a powerful bite. But there's another side to this story. Many of these same dogs were also incredibly loyal to their owners. They could play gently with family members, yet, if trained for violence or raised irresponsibly, that same courage could become extremely dangerous. Experts often say a dog's behavior depends on many factors: its genetics, its training, its socialization, and the responsibility of its owner. Unfortunately, not every owner understands that. Some people intentionally train these powerful dogs to attack. Others neglected them or used them in illegal fighting rings, and that's when tragedy often followed. By the late 20th century, serious attacks involving powerful breeds began making international headlines. Fear spread rapidly. Some countries responded by banning or heavily restricting certain breeds. Others argued that the real problem wasn't the dog, it was the human holding the leash. So the question remains, is this truly the most dangerous dog ever created? Or is it simply one of the most misunderstood? In the next chapter, we'll examine its incredible physical abilities, its bite, its strength, and why so many people fear it the moment they see it. Imagine standing face to face with a dog. Its muscles ripple beneath its skin. Its eyes never leave yours. And every step it takes feels calm, but powerful. This isn't a monster from a horror movie. It's a real animal, one that has earned both admiration and fear. So, what makes this breed so powerful? First, its body. Unlike many other dogs, this breed has a compact, muscular frame. Every part of its body is built for strength, speed, and endurance. Its chest is broad, its shoulders are incredibly powerful, its neck is thick enough to generate tremendous force, and its jaws have become the subject of countless myths. You've probably heard people say, once it bites, it never lets go. But here's the truth. There is no scientific evidence that this breed's jaws have a special locking mechanism. That's a myth. What makes the bite seem impossible to escape isn't a locking jaw. It's the dog's determination and grip strength when it has been trained or driven to hold on. That's a very important difference, but even without a locking jaw, a large, powerful dog can cause devastating injuries if it attacks. Now imagine combining that physical power with fearlessness and incredible determination. That's exactly why these dogs were once chosen for dangerous tasks. Not because they were evil, but because humans bred them for courage and persistence. Unfortunately, those same traits can become dangerous in the wrong hands. A responsible owner can raise a calm, well-socialized dog. An irresponsible owner can turn almost any powerful dog into a serious threat. And history has shown both sides. There are countless stories of these dogs serving as loyal companions, protecting families,